Do you know that feeling that no matter how much you achieve, it never seems enough for you to finally feel respected or accepted? If you're the type of person who checks their bank balance not just to pay bills, but to measure your worth as a human being, you're trapped in an invisible cycle of financial validation. For many people, a bank statement isn't just a number, it's a thermometer of worthiness. They believe that if their balance is high or if they're wearing a specific brand, they will finally be seen by the world. But the truth is that this search for external security reflects a self-esteem built on shifting sands. Today, we'll delve into the psychology of those who need constant financial validation to feel like someone, and understand why this is one of the most exhausting ways to live. The root of this behavior usually lies in a dangerous connection we make between having and being. Deep down, the person who constantly seeks validation through money isn't after luxury, they're after belonging. Perhaps at some point in your life, you learned that affection and attention were conditional. If you got good grades, you gained attention. If you had the latest toy, you were included in the group. Over time, this dynamic migrates into adulthood. The car you drive or the neighborhood where you live become your entry badges into society. The problem is that when your identity is tied to your possessions, any fluctuation in your wealth seems like a direct threat to your existence. If you lose money, you feel like you've lost yourself. This leads us to the phenomenon of constant social comparison. For those who live for validation, it's not enough to be doing well. You have to be better than your neighbor, your coworker, or that influencer you follow. Psychology explains that this type of person uses money as armor to hide an inner fragility. It's as if you're shouting to the world that you're successful so that no one notices how insecure you feel inside. Money becomes a shield. You spend to signal status, not because you like the product, but because you need that look of admiration or envy from others to fill a void that self-knowledge hasn't yet filled. It's a race without a finish line, because there will always be someone with a bigger balance or a more expensive watch, which generates eternal frustration. Furthermore, there's the relentless pursuit of a security that never arrives. You set a goal. When I have 100,000 Rs, I'll relax. But when you get there, the fear of loss or the need to be more visible makes you push the goal to 1 million. External security is an illusion for those who lack internal security. You live in a state of hypervigilance, monitoring investments and expenses with an anxiety that drains your vital energy. Money, which should give you peace of mind, becomes your greatest slave master. You don't own the money. The money and the image it projects own you. It's a cycle of emotional dependence where your mood for the day is dictated by the fluctuations in your wallet. This need for validation also destroys the authenticity of relationships. When you present yourself to the world through your purchasing power, you attract people who are interested in what you have, not in who you are. This reinforces your belief that you are only worthy of love if you are producing or accumulating. Deep down, there is a paralyzing fear of being discovered as an ordinary person. The idea of being an average person, without the trappings of wealth, seems like a sentence of invisibility. But this invisibility is merely a projection of your fear. The world doesn't stop loving you if you trade your car for a simpler one, but you stop respecting yourself because you placed all your trust in external symbols. To break this pattern, you need to decouple your self-esteem from your productivity. You need to understand that your value as a person is intrinsic. It doesn't increase when the stock market goes up, nor does it decrease when the market goes down. Money should be a facilitator of experiences and comfort, not the foundation of your soul. Start observing how many of your financial choices are made for yourself and how many are made for others to see. The silence of true stability is much more powerful than the noise of ostentation for validation. When you don't need to prove anything to anyone, money finally begins to fulfill its role of giving you freedom, instead of keeping you in a golden cage. Living to be financially validated is like trying to fill a leaky bucket. You can throw all the fortune in the world in there, but the feeling of inadequacy will always find a way out. The cure begins when you allow yourself to be seen without the disguises of success. It's understanding that real security comes from your ability to adapt, to learn, and to connect with people honestly, without needing a receipt to prove your worth. If you felt tired just thinking about this relentless pursuit, perhaps it's time to reassess what you're trying to buy with your hard-earned money. If this video touched on a sensitive point and made you reflect on how you measure your own worth, don't forget to subscribe here. On the channel, we explore those layers of the channel. We explore those layers of the mind that banks don't explain, but which dictate our happiness. Leave a comment telling us, at what point in your life did you feel that your worth depended on what you had in your pocket? Let's talk about it and deconstruct these burdens together. And if you feel that, in addition to validation, your problem is the constant fear of the future that we discussed before, the video that is now appearing on the screen will help you complete this puzzle. Click on it, and we'll continue this conversation right now, in search of a life with more peace and less performance.